Just be sure that they're fairly light so that you can cover it up in this step. But the first thing that needs to happen is some darkening in. So I'm darkening around the eye, around the nostril, and under the lip, and behind the ear, and starting to get that little bit more darkness under the chin. Starting to develop the hollow in the neck. Some of the shading over in that section as well. This is the line of her hair. A little bit more darkness under the nose. And now I think we can start adding the actual features. And that dark that I used was that first dark down. And if yours appears too bright, add just a little bit of burnt umber to it, and that will cool it down and dull it. I'm going to switch to my spotter brush so that I can really get these features in precisely. And coming in with the warm black. And I think the first thing that I'd like to add is just that lash line. She's looking down. And actually, this is her iris, pupil, etc., just totally shaded in. Just can't really see much of what's going on in that area. Then getting more precise with that top lid. I'm going to add the brow in. I'm trying to make it less distinct. I'm going to work that just a little bit more, but I need a different brush. But while I have this brush in my hand, I'm going to put in with the darkest flesh tone, that reddish, her nostril. This hole underneath of the nose needs to be made darker also. Okay, now I'm going to switch to a softer, bigger brush, not too much bigger, just because of the size restriction. And just blend this, diffuse it out. Adding some lights in now that we have our darks established. I actually picked up the lightest value of the flesh. And blending these in. And this is just the original lights that we laid on, but this is starting to get the flesh tones just a little bit more established. A little bit on the front of that eye. Now on the mouth, on the bottom lip, I'm just going to put in just a whisper of Genesis Red to get that established. And then the upper lip has to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to take Genesis Red and a little bit of Crimson just to make it a little darker. And wipe my brush and blend those out just a little bit. But while I have that on my brush, I think I'll put a little bit on the inside of the ear. I like the lips at this point to be a little on the bright side, and then they just definitely tone down when we add shines and shading. I'm going to just risk it and put a little bit of red on her face just to get that started. And then come back with the flat of my brush and diffuse it out. Now some of the shading on the lips, coming in with crimson and just a little bit of blue. And shading that outside edge as well. Highlighting with light flesh. The edges of lips are quite soft and diffused. So you can give it the edges just a little blend to help them fade ever so slightly. Let's dry that portion and then we can add to it.